At the end of the 2022 season, there was a carbon neutral fuel labeled GTA R100 that was tested by the GT300 cars as well as the GT500 cars. Halfway through the season of this year, the GT500 cars utilized the GTA R100. At the end of round 8 this year, there was a new carbon neutral fuel labeled GTA R50 that contained 50% less synthetic fuel that the GT300 cars tested. They are scheduled to adopt this next year. I'll post this link in the description so you guys can read for yourself. But this is coming from the SUPERGT.net website. Following the final race of the season, track tests with the carbon neutral fuel to be used in next season's GT300 class cars were held at Motegi. It reads as follows. On November 6th, the day after the final race of the 2023 season, Mobility Resort Motegi Tochigi Prefecture was the site of track testing of the carbon neutral fuel hereinafter CNF that is intended for use by cars in the GT300 class in the 2024 season. In the GTA regular press conference held before the season's final round, GTA chairman Masaka Bando gave an explanation of the Super GT Green Project 2030 and the CNF to be used in accordance with it, as well as the fact that from season cars in the GT500 class are already using the GTA R100 synthetic fuel manufactured by the Halterman Careless Company. The King contains no fossil fuels whatsoever. As for the GT300 class, although tests of the same fuel were held prior to and during this year's season with the aim of adopting it in the class as well, unfortunately it was not possible to introduce use of the fuel in actual races in the GT300 class this year. However, as a result of those earlier tests, a new synthetic fuel called GTA R50 containing 50% synthetic fuel was developed, and it was the fuel that was used in today's track test. The test event was organized by the GT Entrance Association, made up of the teams participating in Super GT, and it provided GT300 class cars with the opportunity to run test laps on the track following the final race of the season. So what we have is each of the participants were supplied with 300 liters of the GTA R50 CNF fuel, and the 6 cars participated included the number 2 Motor Racing GR86, the number 30 APR GR86 GT, the number 31 APR LC500H GT, the number 52 Green Brave Supra, the number 61 Subaru BRZ, and the number 65 Leon Pyramid AMG. So it looks like in the morning sessions, all of the cars practice short runs, going repeatedly out of and back into the pit to confirm the conditions of the track surface and the machines. This time, 4 of the teams used the same driver lineups as they had in the final round of the series here at Motegi. But for the number 52 Green Brave Supra that won the championship title, who had been registered as team's third driver, Also joining the number 31 APR LC500 GT team, driver Kazuto Katak for the CNF test, this time was the 2023 champion of the FIA F4 Series, Rikuto Kobayashi, and Jin Nakamura, pictured at center, who had competed against Kobayashi to finish second in the FIA F4 Series. Both of these drivers were experiencing driving a Super GT machine for the first time. I wonder, does that mean that next year they're going to look to get a seat in a GT300 car next year? I have heard that there's a lot of movement that's going to be going on when it comes to seats in the GT300 as well as GT500 classes. A lot of people are moving up and moving away, and teams are looking to stay competitive. So I wonder if that's why they're given the chance to test the fuels at Motegi. The skies over Motegi this day were cloudy, as with the final race the day before, the air temperature didn't drop much during the course of the test, making them relatively good conditions for testing. What's more, during the test, there were no serious accidents or machine trouble during the 2 sessions, run for 2 hours from 10 o'clock in the morning and another 2 from 1 o'clock in the afternoon. As for lap times, the fastest times were recorded by Shinohara in the number 65 Leon Pyramid AMG, with a time of 1:47.4 in the morning session. The second and third fastest times went to the number 61 Subaru BRZ and the number 2 Motor Racing GR86, respectively. That's something to think about. We have the Subaru BRZ and the Motor Racing GR86 that also posted fast times. Considering how those cars are kind of somewhat similar in build, I wonder, does the actual carbon neutral fuel, does it benefit them in some sort of way that it doesn't benefit other cars? Um, in regards to the comments of the drivers, listening to the comments of the drivers afterwards, the impression was that in terms of power of the GTA R50 fuel compared to the usual fuel that they used this season, as well as the driving feeling, they felt very little difference. This reaction appears to indicate a big step forward toward the use of the CNF in GT300 class. Driver comments. So, Yu Sasumi in the number 2 Motor Racing GR86 comments, there was not much difference caused by this new fuel. We also had CNF tests after the final round of the 2022 season. And at that time, it seemed that we experienced less trouble with that fuel than some of the other car makes had. But at that time, there were more changes in the track conditions. In respect, there may have been some need for concern. This time, there wasn't much difference between the lap times. There was little difference in impressions I got when I put my foot down on the accelerator. It appears that the other car makes didn't have much trouble either. So it seems that this fuel can be used in races. So based on what he's saying, he's basically saying that the carbon neutral fuel that they use this time, which is the GTA R50, is giving kind of, how do you say, it's giving a consistent result across the board when it comes to the different car makes. It appears that it doesn't hinder one car and benefit another car like the GTA R100 from last year did in the test. So Kazuto Kataki in the number 31 APR LC500 comments, I didn't have any troublesome feelings at all. In things like official tests where a lot of cars have been running on the track, there have been times when we get things like oily spots, slippery conditions, but perhaps since there were only 6 cars running this time, there wasn't much difference in the running conditions. I think we were able to run with no problems. Kota Kawai in the number 52 Green Brave Super comment, when we tested the GTA R100 fuel before, I felt some drop in power, but I didn't feel any particular change like that this time. We also didn't see any change in the exhaust of the rivals with turbocharged engines, and I feel that we were running with the same kind of image as we did yesterday. He's basically referring to the season final race where they actually won the championship. This time we also did mostly short runs, so I think things will be okay. If we don't see any problems occurring in longer runs later. Hideki Yamauchi in the number 61 BRZ, the feeling when I drove this time was that I couldn't tell the difference from gasoline. In a positive sense, there was a slight difference in feeling of the power delivery, but I was able to run well anyway. I think there also wasn't much difference in terms of track surface conditions. So based on the consensus of the actual cars themselves, and it was 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. All 6 teams reported there wasn't too much difference in the feeling of the car. They couldn't tell the difference between, the GTA R50 and the actual gasoline that they use this past season. So this is something interesting to pay attention to. There's basically no difference in the CNF test. So basically, it seems like everything's going to be a go for next year in the 2024 season for them to run the CNF fuel and not have any hiccups. Because this year they were actually supposed to run the GTA R100, but they were getting a difference in results in all the teams. So it wouldn't have been fair, and I'm pretty sure there would have been a lot of controversy behind that. Basically being like, okay, if this team is running the GTA R100 and they're feeling good, but say for instance the Motor Racing GR86 is running it and they're not getting consistent results, there would have been a lot of controversy, and there probably would have been some type of protest for this year's championship. Not sure if that's ever been done, but that's what I would think. It probably would have been an asterisk on the 2023 season results for the GT300. Outside of that, that is what's going on in the off season right now, the Super GT. Make sure to stay tuned to Keita Auto for all your Super GT news on this side of the globe. I will make sure to keep you posted on all the off-season news for Super GT going into the 2024 series. I'll see you later.